So harmony, I think, is very important, and as many of you who are environmentalists, who love nature and so forth, you know that one of the things about what man has done so far is we've done a lot of things that have damaged our natural environment and so forth. And so we know that there are a lot of great people in this state, Aldo Leopold and Gaylord Nelson and others, who've really created a true land ethic. And I was on a program 41 years ago just outside of Fairville, and I lived on a farm for about 10 weeks and so forth. And we read Stan County Almanac, we studied different things in that area and so forth. And you really get a greater appreciation for nature when you're living out in the land, and you know that we've done a lot of things to harm it, and we need to be sure that we don't continue to do that, otherwise we just will not have a planet left. And so the green burial movement is truly very consistent with the environmental movement and people wanting to show respect for nature and recognizing that nature can teach us a lot. We know that diversity is important, and we've got a variety at the center. So the house is sort of the physical place where we have meetings and educational sessions. Gene Farley, in addition to being a physician and talented in many ways, also does model sculptures. So we have some art around the grounds that he has put there over the years. Okay, next. We have nature's art. So this is, you know, a tree that has probably been down for a number of years and so forth, and this slide probably doesn't do it full justice, but just, you know, looking at the grains of wood and seeing how it decays and so forth, I mean, there's just so much that you can sort of enjoy and learn from nature as you're walking out in the woods. Another one of Gene's sculptures, okay? This is near the meadow path. So most of our area is wooded. We've got hickory trees, and unfortunately we've got Dax alders, because, you know, they're not super pretty trees and so forth, and they come and they go, but we have some bur oak trees at the top of the meadow path and one at the base of the meadow path, and we have some nice hardwood areas and the open meadow path, which we haven't decided yet if we're going to do prairie restoration. We probably won't, because there's a lot of other areas that are doing prairie restoration. We're trying to leave everything pretty natural. Initially, Gene's philosophy was let nature rule. And some people had a hard time with that, because I have a lot of visitors who say, Kevin, what are you doing about invasive species? What do you do about the wild parsnip that I saw, the garlic mustard, this and that? I said, well, Gene doesn't really want to do anything, because he says human beings are the most invasive species on the planet. But there are still ways to manage this and to control it and so forth. So now I've gotten Gene to shift from letting nature rule to let nature teach us. So, we hopefully to have some observational studies from university students and faculty, and Gene says, well, let's plan a project for like 100 years to study what it's like if we don't do any intervention and so forth. We haven't found the faculty person who's planned 125 years to do this study, but anyway, we'll see about that. So treat the earth well. It was not given to you by your parents, it was loaned to you by your children. This was a group of women that do threshold singing, so they're called the Threshold Singers. So hopefully the Threshold Care Circle know about them. They're based in the Madison area right now, but they do lovely a cappella singing. They came to one of our open houses last summer when we had several hundred people. We do have farmers on the land. I didn't talk a lot about that, but the Farley Center is more than just the cemetery, more than just the house where we have education programs. We also have about 8 to 10 acres with a neighbor loaning us some more acres, and we have socially disadvantaged farmers that are supported there with educational programs, with translators, because the United States Department of Agriculture has given us grants to help support these disadvantaged farmers so that they can establish themselves in a farm incubator program and do a land link program. Anyway, that's another project that I'm not intimately involved with, but it's part of that whole cycle of life. We are growing organic produce on the land. We have farmers learning about organic growing and learning about business skills and so forth. We have families coming out and participate in burials, and it's just a very powerful sort of community. And Gene always says, this wouldn't happen without community, without people coming together. We have families who say, Kevin, if you need any help digging, if you've got another family that doesn't have someone that can help dig, let us know. It's that kind of spirit that we think is so important to help people through these moments and to create something that will last many, many, many generations in perpetuity. Next. So this is all about creating a lasting legacy, protecting the land, the positive memories, encouraging the sense of community. These are the gentleman with his friend and 5 buddies from work and his 15-year-old son. They dug the grave for this gentleman's mother in about 2 hours or less. She didn't die for 6-7 weeks. A couple of them came back with a couple of family members and filled in the grave, and they just said it was very powerful. Okay, next. This is, in the wintertime, this is one of our first adult full-body burials. We mound the dirt, as people have talked about, and it does take time for it to settle. Okay. Some people that came out for a work day, some kids from Madison area that came who don't get out into nature, so we had a volunteer connected with the Quaker meeting who is a nurse and who does some nature walks and so forth with kids, and so they had an opportunity to be in our nature preserve and learn about nature in some fun ways. And then just a tribute to Dr. Linda Farley and her granddaughter. Imagine this world being a place where mutual respect for the land and people causes life to thrive so that the future is sustained. We all have the opportunity to create a sustainable legacy. And so that's what we're all about, is giving people an opportunity to do something meaningful, not only at the time of death, but also to come out to our center and participate in all of the activity that's going on. Trees growing, we have an apple orchard and so forth. We do try to push the apples. You know, I made a lot of applesauce, and so if you come out, I'll probably figure out a way to give you applesauce, and some cookies or something or other. But we really have a great sort of energy there that we'd love to have you come and visit us. We're about 13, 14 miles outside of Madison, so we're actually in the town of Springdale, right on the edge of Verona. If any of you have traveled Highway 18 151, you know the huge Epic complex, and we're 3 miles west of Epic and so forth. And Epic is good neighbors with us, and we're doing some cooperative things with them as well. But I think I've run out of time.
You got it.
Thanks for listening.